Upon waking up, the price of goods had plummeted. With just 1,000 yuan, I became the richest person in the country. A Rolls-Royce Phantom was priced at only 0.18 yuan. An apartment in the city cost just 0.66 yuan. What's more, top-tier handsome men could be bought 3 for a yuan. After my ex-boyfriend heard about my newfound wealth, he had the audacity to claim that it was our joint property from when we were dating and demanded half of it. Ridiculous. I kicked him out without hesitation. Then I orchestrated a grand act to ensure he'd be laid up in the hospital for 6 months, never daring to mess with me again. 1. In my sleep, a mechanical voice suddenly appeared in my ear.